Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 with my continuing playthrough of Panzer Corps II's Front Lines, the new mode, and we're playing the Battle of the Bulge campaign here, in which, even though it's Panzer Corps, we're playing as the Americans. And we are in the last turn here, about ready to end it here. We've held St. Vince and three more victory hexes and destroyed the optional task of destroying the heavy anti-tank unit, which is actually over here. You know, I just clicked on the AA unit up there, but so we've achieved that, which is good. And we're going to see what happens when we end this turn. And before we go on, I want to read. The German-speaking community and the municipalities of Malmedy and Reims, German Reims, which belong to the French community of Belgium. Okay. The East Canton part of the Rhine province of Prussia, German Empire until 1920. The countries of were annexed by Belgium following Germany's. Yes, we're going to do that. Okay. Three full German armies are now on the move, sir. If anyone is still in doubt, we are facing nothing less than a full-scale offensive in a region the enemy knows all too well from Blitzkrieg in 1940. Historical infantry, 2 infantry regiments were encircled in the Schnee Eifel, and 7,000 GIs had to surrender. I believe that is my next door neighbor that I grew up next to was one of those guys. I know he surrendered, and I don't think it was down in Italy, because I know they captured a bunch of Americans down in Italy. I think it was, I'm not sure exactly at this group, but he was one of the GIs that got captured, as opposed to a pilot or somebody shot down. It was the heaviest defeat of the U.S. Army in Europe. U.S. forces still delayed the Germans, but withdraw from St. Vince later to avoid encirclement. By then, Schiff had mobilized the 82nd and the 101st Airborne Divisions, the only larger U.S. reserve available. The 82nd first plan to defend Bastogne was routed to block Kampfgruppe at Piper. Bastogne would be held by the 101st. And yes, there very much was at this time a bit of a pause because of winter and trying to resupply or keep supplied the Allied forces. I say that because there were some Free French and definitely a whole British army moving against the Germans, but there was not a lot of reserves in France and that region, partially because of the difficulty of supply. If you have an extra 3 divisions sitting around as reserve, well, they're going to eat supplies, you know, and even troops not fighting use up ammo and training and whatnot, so maybe not nearly as much as at the front. So the U.S. or the Western Allies really did not have a reserve. The reason you had the airborne divisions is because, unlike Germans, by this point, had stopped using their airborne forces as paratroopers. They used them as elite infantry. The U.S. and British were trying to continue to use the airborne forces as a, not as frontline soldiers, but in airborne operations. We have earlier than this, and I did a really nice live stream with my friend Admiral Teague on his channel, in which we looked at, we talked over the whole movie, but we ran A Bridge Too Far, the movie, and we talked about the history around it going on. And so that's, the airborne divisions were used there, as, parachuting and glider landing airborne forces. And then later than this, they are again used at varsity which is another jump across the Rhine as airborne forces. So they very much are not trying to just use the 82nd and the 101st as just more infantry divisions on the front. They're trying to utilize them in their stated purpose as opposed to just more divisions. So now this is an emergency situation, and and there were, and I don't know how many, there were some. I don't know I really just don't know if there's a lot or just a few, but there were definitely some divisions, American divisions, sitting over in England because there was plenty of supplies for all the American forces needed in England. It's just, at the front that it's becoming difficult to supply them because they're just moving so fast to keep the supplies up at the front. So in some places, like, they're moving lots and lots and lots of supplies into places like the Normandy beach area landings where they put the artificial harbors, and into a few of the other small harbors, but they can't take modern ships at all. I mean, they're sort of fishing harbors by the standards of the day, and they had been with smaller ships in the 18th century, cargo harbors. And I think by this time, but I'm not absolutely sure, but I think by this time, Brest had finally fallen. But that's way out to the west. The French port, and I don't know what shape that was in, so bringing supplies in through there wouldn't necessarily help, moving into Germany. And I think Antwerp had been opened by this time, and that's sort of maybe some of the, if things go super well, we can get the supplies in Antwerp and shut off Antwerp as a supply port for, the Ardennes Offensive. So, so they end up using the paratroopers as a blocking force, a stabilizing force, just because there is not another defensive setup here. And let's see. Okay, yes, World War I and subsequent Treaty of Versailles, right. Germans defeated. Yes. Hello, Sun Temple Radio. How you doing? Thank you. Thinking you get some time off the line. Yes. It was guerrilla fighters. Okay. All right. So let's end the briefing here. Okay. So we did this. We got the optional extra. Okay. We can defend Bastogne or stop Kampfgruppe Piper. So hold Bastogne or stop Kampfgruppe Piper. I'm going to stop Okay, Bastogne defense limited. Core blocking Piper may lead to more complex and costly battle. I'm going to go with Kampfgruppe Piper. I've always really sort of admired the idea, and to a point the implementation of Kampfgruppe Piper. The historian doesn't tell this, but Belgium and France really didn't stop fighting. Well, I'm not, if you say during German occupation, yeah, it's a complex history. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try to stop Kampfgruppe Piper. Let's see if we can do this. Kampfgruppe Piper, well, I remember a time back that the U.S. Defense Secretary, Rumsfeld, thought that we should be giving up tanks entirely in the U.S. Army and moving over to the Stryker vehicles and having, because history was sort of over and we just needed rapidly deployable brigades around the world to, like, fight, in jungles and sandboxes. So we don't need these heavy tanks. But now that we're seeing, yes, we need tanks. And fortunately, he did not get to implement his desires. But I do think relatively small, independent in that it's self-contained and designed to fight for, we can talk for in terms of days, but that's sort of deceptive in the sense that um, how intense is the fighting is more like, shall we say, combat hours, and designed for how much movement you're going to have to how much fuel. But I sort of thought of a modern day, this was, 10 years ago or more, so yeah, things have changed since then. But a modern day Conf Group A Piper to be contained in and of itself. Sure, it might, if available, have, artillery assets. It should have artillery assets as part of it, but might be able to call on other assets, or also the modern day, whether it's drone air power or um, air strikes or whatever. It might very well be able to call on outside assets, but otherwise it's designed to be a self-contained fighting unit that's not. It's supposed to be much smaller than a brigade, though, sort of vaguely battalion sized, in that it's multiple companies. So it's not meant to sustain a lot of fighting, because it doesn't have the strategic depth of lots of troops and lots of tanks, but it's meant to sort of pre-attack an area before the attack happens, in that, like here, is to be out in front of the main offensive and causing disruption and trying to find weak spots to go in and exploit them, as opposed to like go in and take Bastogne and bash your way into it. No, it's meant to sneak around, and sort of based off of the thing. What's our king has defeat, but our general citizens never did. It's why, except Belgium is incredibly alike. Okay. Yeah, Belgium is interesting in World War II, most assuredly. Heavy terrain and narrow roads full of retreating troops and refugees delay our reinforcement. So far, sir, due to the sheer mass of men and vehicles, the Germans struggle with similar problems moving in various battle groups. Enemy armor is often strung out across long distances. Okay. The 82nd Airborne arriving, we are ready to stop Kampfgruppe Piper in the Northern German spearhead and most capable formation of the 6th SS Panzer Army. We assume their ultimate objective is Fort of Antwerp, a major supply hub, as you know. Piper had already passed through the area of Malmedy on December 17th, and our troops entered the town to block further German forces. More German units are arriving at, yes. I can't pronounce all these names well. Watch out for updates on this matter. Split your forces to support key efforts in the area containing Group Piper is top priority. Weaken his main force. Defeat his small rear guard at Stavelot to cut supply lines. The situation will remain fluid as long as the enemy has enough mobile units to mount attacks in various directions. Okay, primarily hold Wearmont and Malmedy for 15 turns, retake Stavelot, or however you say these places, hold or retake Stormont. Optional, hold or retake all secondary hexes. Each secondary hex awards 5 prestige a turn when held. Note, AI moves first. Okay. Okay, we have a hero of an exterminator, +5 attack against units below 50%. Right, okay. So, we lost an infantry unit last time. We're going to elite reinforce that. Okay, and it was our engineers. We had a really kick-ass engineer unit. Now, did I lose? Okay, let's see. When I lost him, did I lose the hero? Yes, it looks like I lost our hero as well. No, it's here. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, that was our hero in the unit there. Rapid fire and cheap replacements. Okay, so he survived the destruction of the unit. So we're going to close this. We're going to buy U.S. engineers here. And I think we're Well, it's one more point. Yeah, we're gonna do half tracks. But we'll purchase that. Okay, and since we're rebuilding our engineers, we will assign him there. Okay, good. So this is our current force makeup. We're going to reinforce that, Jackson. That. Now we'll see about that one in just a moment. Okay, artillery is up to, and we have a few more points. We've got a 105. Now we do have a few units that are already on the board. Some are well off, some are a bit weaker. I don't know if they'll be able to reinforce up. We've got to, okay, we can deploy up there. We can deploy a little bit down here. Okay, we have down here anti-tank, artillery, heavy weapons, weak scout unit, and some Shermans. Sort of standard here. Okay, some artillery, anti-air, anti-tank. Pretty decent anti-tank there with some infantry up there. What are these guys? Airborne, okay. Right. Okay. They're getting to move first. Malmedy, we could push down to Malmedy. Let's see what we can buy here. Baffy's A, which is not all that useful for us, I don't think. Because we do have a long tom, do we not? Yes, we have a long tom. Okay. Well, we need to hold Wehrmacht. Hold or retake. We need to hold or retake that. Where's Wehrmacht is way back there, okay. And Malmedy is up here. So we need to hold here. Okay, and since all we have here, well, we have a 76 millimeter anti-tank gun, some heavy infantry, and some U.S. infantry there. We've got a few more way back here. Okay. There, we need to retake that. Okay, so that is very telling. Okay, so deployable forces here. Right. Okay, so let's come in here with a .76 millimeter gun and a oh well, okay. One thing I think if we have enough points for an M7 priest. Yeah, I like that. That is 4 points. Okay. That leaves us with what, another 5. If I can do math well. Right. Okay, so that will be there. The other one we want to hold is here and hold retake there. So, we're going to have conf group at Piper, which is going to come at us fairly hard. So, let's also reinforce this. Okay, so now we've got a fairly good tank and a very good anti-tank that we can come up here and try to hold or malt with. And we're also going to be retaking. Let's go with big artillery piece. Okay, big artillery piece. Now up here, this is a lot of very open ground. We'll have these starting 3 infantry units. One of them heavy infantry. So let's put one there. Okay. Now down here, do we want to so these guys are going to come or move and form up around here to try to hold that location. Most of these formations in here look fairly good, strength-wise. So, give them some support. Now down here again. Rangers and engineers. Our rangers are going to be moving on foot. Got a lot of sort of rough terrain in here, so let's put the rangers here. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at armor. We can do up to a M3A3. It's not these guys. We have one more point. Well, I think we could do this. Let's do this. Oh, what's the difference? Okay, yeah, a little better. So we'll purchase this. Okay, so with these three guys here, that'll give us a bit of a fighting unit here, and I think we can push down out of the north. I think we're going to hold in here well enough. So let's we need to take some of these supply points. Okay, let's put you here, you here, and you here. Okay, there we go. Let's save this. There we go. All right, so that is our deployment. Germans get first turn, or move first. We've got 20 turn. Oh, no. Oh, there's still a hero to be deployed. That's right. It's out here. Killer, no retaliation. This guy. Hit and roll. Do we put the exterminator there? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, I think that is it. Let's see how well they get their first turn. Oh, took out my... Okay, so they've pushed hard on us first turn and it's snowing. Yes, we're not planning on doing any air power. All right, here we are. We do not have control over that or this, but we do have control over this. Rangers here, okay. Okay. Reinforce that. You withdraw into the forest. You guys just... okay. You guys can make it to here. You're in anti-tank mode, so that is good. We can deploy. Leave them back there. What is this? Okay, supply dump. We can leave. I think you protecting that. You guys can move to here. Keep in the forest. All right, now here. Okay, I think that's where we want to defend here. This objective hex. Now these guys. Well. There we go. Down here. Okay. You can make it all the way back to here and still deploy, so don't need to hold that. I'd rather hold this. So you come to here, you come to here. And you hide in the woods. Now up here, they can make it back to there. Now we are thinking about pushing down here for there, but not right away. You can head into the... You can head to there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, those are not under my control, allies. These guys... Oh, I could get them into the forest, I would, but I can't, so we'll leave them where they're at. Here, though, I think we will fall back. These guys in the village. Okay, yeah, they're getting pushed back. These guys, yeah. They survived. Okay, we're receiving reports about troop movement south of Malmedy. Sometimes they seem to refer to unknown American units, sometimes to the enemy. Earlier rumors of enemy paratroopers appearing behind front lines often turned out to be wrong or exaggerated, but watch out for G2 update on this matter. Okay. Right. Well, now that you're here, let's reinforce you. think I'm going to try to be clever. We may push up a little bit. Ah, here we are of enemy units trying to be clever. Okay, so that's a little better shape there. Hoping to just eliminate them, but I guess that's not going to be the case right now. Okay, well now we're here. Okay, so we are pretty well turtled up. They're sitting over there. Okay, well, we have all these forces up here, but I think we're going to move up to here because we can. Switch you over to anti-tank mode. And I think down here we also don't need to be too defensive here. We want to watch out for paratroopers of unknown origin. But I don't know if we can get through there, but are just slowly maybe. Yeah, I think that's good. Ow. That did something over here. Okay. Ah, yes. A panther with American symbols. They were really mocked up to look like M10 tank destroyers, but yes. Okay, reinforce. Oh, I forgot to reinforce these guys, I think, last time. So let's just move you out of the way. We'll reinforce maybe next time here. Okay. Placements there. We're going to shift it right to here. Our big long toms. Let's see what we can do. Okay, no particularly great effect, but now down here, let's move you up to here, you to here, and we'll just sort of hang out down in the south. Okay, well, there's Jerry. Hi, Jerry. We're going to just stay right here where we are at. And hope Jerry attacks us at the right spot. Okay, well. We're going to withdraw to there. These guys are going to come to here. There we go. Those guys are going to stay there. Oh, these guys, yes. I'm going to move you up through the forests. Let's move your artillery piece there, because that's what they are. We'll move the engineers to there. If you take them to there, I think. There we go. Okay, they overran this one unit there. Oop, took that out badly. Okay. Sir G2 has evaluated intelligence about the enemy attempts to cause confusion in our lines by using special units equipped with captured U.S. hardware and wearing U.S. uniforms. The initial folks are confident the identified troops near Malmedy part of this effort, prepared to hold the town at all costs. Okay. Yeah, I really like Panzer Corps Sun Temple Radio. It is not the most realistic war game, or even trying to be that. but it is a, I think a rather good one still. Okay. The Panther did not come after us there. Oh, these guys did attack down here. We're going to move up the artillery to a short range. I think we got that. Oh, let's do this. You get to come back to there. That's good. You're having a little problem up here. You took out one light anti-tank gun that we had here, which is a pain that it's gone. Not that it's terribly a big problem, but still it's a pain. Okay, I need to get rid of that unit there. Okay, well, I think we need to do this piecemeal. Nah, I'm gonna... Well, that actually turned out to be fairly good, but we have not gotten rid of that guy yet. Uh-huh. Well, maybe I don't have to worry too much about that being encircled this turn. Now, what are we going to do here? We're holding this at quote-unquote all costs, but costs so far are low. Let's reinforce that. Maybe reinforce, no. Okay. That messed up my AA guns. Well, killed them. Okay, killed the AA guns. Okay, let's reinforce. Anything happening up here? No. Down here? No, not really. Let's actually retreat back a little bit. See if they bring any more forces forward. Oh, there we are. More Jerry over here. Paratroopers, yes. Okay, well. Let's shift you to here. You to here. We'll start firing on you even way out there. You to there. Okay, that's good. Our instead of paratroopers, where? Okay, these guys there. Wait. Okay, well maybe I'm moving them through the forest. I should just have them walk up there. Well, I definitely want to take this guy out. Very nice. Ah. Boom, that did a nice hit. Okay, well. Yeah. I know we're potentially going to take, well, actually did better than, much better exchange than I thought we would. Okay. Mess up the leading elements of Conf Group A Piper. Just did an insane attack on us. And I say that. Knowing what I'm talking about. Hello. Mm-hmm. Ah, here's the Germans back. We're gonna move you up here. So take a look around and get the reconnaissance bonus. Do that. We're gonna do that so that he still has anti-tank guns supporting him, just in case there's a Panther unit or something coming to support there. Oh, hey, yeah, Zedpuds. Kladenschützen. Okay, there we go. You guys keep running up. You should have been running up for a while there. That was my mistake. Okay, we're going to fleet reinforce you. Let's just kill this unit. There we go, they surrender, nice. You come up like that. Okay, we're gonna try to long pump these guys to death. And we did, yay. The one thing I really do admire about German ingenuity, maybe a good term, in World War II. Now it's both a good and a bad thing. It's good in their sort of creative ability to do stuff, but it's bad that they needed to do it on such a significant scale. Early in the American experience in World War II, we needed to extemporize things a bit, be creative in that we had half tracks starting to be spammed out. We needed tank destroyers, so we literally got leftover French 75 millimeter guns from World War I that we had in inventory, and we mounted those into half tracks as tank destroying weapons and infantry fire support. And then later, I think mounting some 105 millimeter guns into the half tracks. And I would even say the M3 Lee, the thing with the turret and the 75 millimeter gun in it, is also an extemporized thing, because it was, we need a tank today, not a tank tomorrow. And there was no production facilities that in the U.S. that could make a turret, cast a turret large enough to hold a 75 millimeter gun. And that was what, and this is actually sort of starting out, well, both for American needs, but also British needs. So the British needs were for today, not tomorrow. Obviously, it's going to take some time to make the tank and get it to, like, North Africa where it shows up. But they need it there now, not later. So they put the 75 millimeter down in the hull. They put an aircraft engine in the back of the tank, which also makes it, both of those two things make it tall. And then, because realizing, hey, yeah, a sponson or even if it was a center mounted like a Stug, they wanted it to be a tank to be able to, a turret to turn 360 degrees around, but definitely in a real practical sense, forward firing arc turret, complete. So they have actually a very good 37 millimeter gun, but it is still just a 37 millimeter gun up there, that there with a coaxial machine gun and another turret on top of the turret for the commander to play with, to have another machine gun on it. But yeah, the British didn't quite like that, so they did a different turret, or requested a different turret be made for it. And the British did use the Lee, that they're the ones that named it, and then they mostly used the Grant, which was their sort of tailored version of it. See, the Americans did a little bit of this early in the war, but Germany was doing this throughout the war just because they could not produce enough anything. They just could not produce enough anything. But I really do admire how they engaged in this. The Wasp, this little guy here, that is a Panzer II hull. So you have the Panzer II production line system. It's cranking out Panzer IIs. It gets to the point that, oh, hey, yeah, Panzer II's really, not what we want so much anymore. Well, I mean, yeah, we still sort of kind of want them because anything's better than nothing. But we've got better things to put our resources into. But instead of shutting the factory down and retooling it over to like a Panzer IV, Panzer III hulls, which there's very, very good reason to do said things. And this is very much where Guderian and Speer agree that they want to streamline production, produce fewer different models. Now, there's one thing, I mean, obviously the one thing good about it is the whole supply and logistics chain. You're supplying fewer vehicle types with fewer, spare part types, and you can produce probably more of them more efficiently. But the bad thing is, us cool armored dudes, that love looking at German World War II armor, we like all the weird and wonderful development. So, hey, makes Germany fall faster, so yay, but also yay, we get all these different armor type vehicles to obsess over. And so here's the Wasp. It's continuing using, and it is efficiently using the Panzer II hull engine style. Now they move the engine around a bit, move it forward instead of having it in the back, but they're still basically the same engine, basically the same transmission, and basically the same running gear, and much of the sort of hull construction, at least the lower part, is basically the same. Obviously they have this thing up here. And they make quite a few of these now, just in the hundreds, but not huge numbers of the Wasp. And they mount a 105 millimeter gun on it that is just barely fits. So they don't have a lot of ammunition with it. It's not that great, but it's good. Now, what they're also making at the same time that they're making the Wasp is they're making the Martyr 2, and which is basically the same hull. It just has a PaK 40 gun in it. So it's a mobile anti-tank gun. So this, yeah, it also does help Germany to operate too. So they're doing this as, a double shot. It's what they're mounting in it, and sort of final mechanics like slots where you put the ammunition is slightly different because of different rounds kind of thing. Now Germany also does here the Hummel here, which is a 150 millimeter gun in a it's a little bit of Panzer III elements, a little bit of Panzer IV elements, but basically a Panzer IV hull. So they're putting a 150 millimeter howitzer on it. Now this fits a bit better. Still don't carry a lot of ammunition. A lot of these vehicles are followed by trucks around, but it's an armored vehicle that can quickly move and deploy in the 150 millimeter gun. It's moderately well protected, does pretty well. Now what they're also doing is the exact same hull, or super close to it, is the Nashorn, which is the longer barreled, bigger chambered, sort of super 88 millimeter round. Not the one that the Tiger uses, sort of upgun from the Tiger. So that is a long-range tank destroyer, and that does work rather well, so long as, and in most cases they can keep it far back to where it is hard to be hit, because it's especially used on the Eastern Front, where you often have long sight lines. That the Soviets just, they're driving around in their tanks, they sort of see muzzle blasts or whatever. Oh, we're being shot at. Yeah, well, okay, good. And then boom, you blow up. Now, eventually there's some of the tanks are realizing, hey, the tanks near me are just blowing up, And so, oh, must be a dangerous gun out there. And so they're trying to look for these things. And, range finding isn't terribly great. Their optical setup isn't terribly great. Not necessarily that, and I don't know how well the optics are aligned with the gun. And this is one thing that, again, I'm not an expert on, but just read a little bit. It's you don't just go in and mount that main gun and then stick a scope next to it. You got to sort of get them zeroed in, because I know this on rifles. You got to get them zeroed in, and so the range evaluation and all of that is set up. And I don't know that the Soviet the quality is there, and how well, when you look through that gun sight, which is an optical scope, and look at that enemy tank and get the crosshairs on the enemy tank, and even if you're, in your range estimating, oh, that's 500 yards, and so you move it to the 500 yards thing, how well that is in line with that gun. Because really, to my understanding, again, I'm not a World War II tanker. Modern tanks are different, so if you're a modern tanker, I don't know exactly how it correlates to World War II, but it is slightly different. It's similar, but slightly different. So you really sort of got to fire some rounds. And again, I don't know how consistent even the Soviet ammunition for tank ammunition is. But you got to fire some rounds, and a high explosive round will work different than a high penetration round. So I don't even know how they're judging, the Soviet tanks are judging the round impact range difference and setting all of that up into their one range scope. I really don't know, but I don't think it's so good. And so, oh, hey, a tank is sort of big, and unlike War Thunder, where you're often playing at very short ranges and the guns are fairly well zeroed in, in real life it's not quite, so you're not necessarily hitting on the vulnerable spot at at sort of longer range. So it's oh yeah, 300 yards, 500 yards, yeah, you're gonna hit the thing most of the time, when you fire the tank and the tank gun at it. And if you have a reasonably good armor, you know, like if you're running around in a T-72, like the 76mm version, and you're shooting that at a, you know, an up-armored Panzer IV or a Tiger, you're probably not going to do serious damage to the tank. Because you're likely to miss it a few times too, getting that range just right. But even 300-400 yards, you're probably not so bad. But if you can just get it out at the starting like in the 800,000 yards or longer range, well then you're probably not necessarily going to hit this thing with your Soviet tank. And they try to keep them far back, you know, when they're the anti-tank version. And so even though this is vulnerable, because there's no real effective armor against any tank guns, but you know, so you can just literally explodify Soviet tanks out there before they can effectively return fire on you. Now, they're not invulnerable in that the Soviets do have aircraft that do ground strikes, the Sturmovik and others, and they do have artillery, you know, to counter battery fire, and they just also have a lot of tanks to drive at the enemy and eventually get close enough. So yeah, so I really do love these various German developments of the tank. So it's not entirely like I was saying earlier with the idea of, you know, bad for them and that they didn't streamline production as maybe as much as they could have. But it is not necessarily the best either, you know, because they are having to supply Panzer II types. And they're also trying to they end up making about 100 of them, but they want to make 1,000 of them or more. A different model Panzer II for reconnaissance vehicles that mostly the parts, even the engines and transmissions are all new. So, and oh, hey, the Puma, the 8-rad Puma here that is sort of a mix of German and Czech designs, is a diesel engine. All the rest of German armor is standard gasoline type engine. So you now have to supply a different ammo to. Guys, a different fuel to these guys, not ammo, different fuel to these guys than everybody else. So, you know, it's cool for us, you know, armor geeks, but it really is a bit of a, you know, thing to mess with and deal with on a large scale. Okay, so let's give them their turn. Okay, their crowd shoots and they're coming in around me. Oop, oh, pushing back here. Okay. So we have a Panther here in winter camouflage, and we have a Tiger 2 or a King Tiger. Alrighty now. That just tells me I pushed out too far here. Okay, we'll see what we can do to save the situation. Right. Now we have these guys. These guys fell back. These guys, yeah. These guys, for some reason, went to the hill so they could be badly effed up. Bridging unit. Okay, well. Oh, good. We got an overrun. Okay, so they've got artillery support. Okay. That's strength. Okay, now that's where we sort of messed up, pushed up a little too far. Right, okay, well here, I want to make sure I end these guys. So let's... Okay, we're going to stay there because that's going to sort of support these, and these guys run off into the woods. There we go. Ah, Puma. Well, okay. Now here's another thing: is the same hull. Well, maybe it's better to come up here as the Puma, but it has a short-barreled 75 millimeter gun. Now they were not meant to like come in and attack a unit like this. They were meant to be fire support if they got sort of you know, attacked by enemy reconnaissance forces while they were moving around. Okay, we're gonna hopefully kill that. Oh, good. And we got overrun. Oh, we've got a nice panther over here. Okay, so these guys are gonna move to here, be supported by that anti-tank gun. All right. Could have forgot about that panther. Come up here. Okay, what can we save? What can't we save? Like these guys here. Okay. These are in their anti-tank roles, and they're at strength 3 here. Okay. Okay, the tank destroyer is going to come down to here. This guy is going to come back to here and support that. This guy's going to drive all the way down to there. This guy's going to drive into the forest here. And this guy here is going to, I think, drive to here. I don't know that these guys are going to get through this forest, past him, all this turn and hit him. So he can probably survive. These guys probably won't. Should have probably moved them back. Those are still dangerous. Alright, well, they're all supported by artillery. Okay, well, let's pound on this guy a bit. Okay, I think we will. Target effect withdrew. One of them moved up to here. What's happening down here? Infantry showed up. Okay. I think they got a little messed up from the artillery. And what is going on up here? Okay. Oh, Panthers came in and sort of kind of attacked there. Right. Hello. Raw Berbers. Salafs? Sorry, I'm probably butchering. Don't mean to. Tough spot. Not much can bother the Tiger 2 aside from the Jackson there, unless he decides to play hide and seek in the woods with infantry. Absolutely, yes. I am the Tiger 2 that went here is maybe going up and around this way or something, and I am definitely worried about that. For sure. I think the Panther's sitting right there. But that gives me time to, is this information? Is this a core unit? Wait here if it's a core unit. Okay, no, how do I, okay, yes, it's my core unit 57. All right, so I will elite reinforce that. This is not the core unit, so we will just regular reinforce him. I think this is my elite one, or my core unit, not sure though. Okay, and see, he's just going to hang out in the town and hold. Okay. Now here, got some crowd shoots and, all right. That's just going to be done this turn, so yeah, fully suppress those guys. They retreat to there. I guess these guys come up to here. Don't know that I want to move up. Okay, well, either I'm gonna Okay, our 105s could come up that way, but he's going to come this way. And yes, tanks in the forest, as we just talked about, but he does have artillery backing him up here. So, I think we're just going to try to eliminate this guy. Right. And so if these guys come and attack here, they'll get artillery support from here or vice versa. So I think we're pretty good there. We're going to move him up to here. Move these guys up to here. You to this bit of forest. With this game that I learned way back when it was Panzer General, sort of like what I call a ballet of movement. I think we'll just keep hanging back. Because what we are going to do is shift these guys out of the forest into this. And how to use support weapons to deal with the enemy here. We're going to move up there. Encircles him, and these guys are going to move here, which keeps these guys encircled, but we're going to attack here. Yes, they're now themselves counter encircled. Yeah, we'll take equal exchange there, I guess. No, I think we're good enough. Okay. There we go. I'm going to try to free that unit up from being encircled and coming in and attacking here all around. Oop! He decided to drive through the forest. Things didn't go terribly well for him. Oh boy, we got Panther here. Oh boy, this is... what is with this unit here? Is he... Ah! Johann's Fox, Vigilant and Sixth Sense. Okay. May have not been the smartest attack that I was doing. So not get support fire from other units, making them a bit harder to use. Yeah. Okay. We're going to do that and then fall back. These guys are going to come up and attack. Push him back there. Right. Okay. Now. That Panther, instead of coming after these guys, went up here. Oh, hey, hi, Stug Force. Down here. Yeah, you get that. Kill them. Okay. Well, now that the King Tiger is buggered off, probably heading over here. And we have somewhat. Let's see if we were to. No, not so much. I think we'll just stay where we're at. Okay. Well. That does not free them up. Oh, no, it does free them up from encirclement. Okay. Well, that sure messed them up. You guys are just gonna get... Again, is this core unit or not? Yeah, this is core unit, I believe. So let's... We'll move you up too. Into the woods here to... Well, I hope all the new people around have either subscribed or followed the channels, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or even Twitter, which I'm on those three today. Okay, up here. There we go, overrun. But before we do that overrun, we're going to move over to here. And we're going to artillery these guys. I think we're going to reinforce that. They're encircled now, but these, if there is Tiger 2 or something coming, we do have the Jackson supporting it. They are messed up, and now even more messed up. So they're all messed up, which is good. Yeah, I like that well enough. I guess these guys just move into the trees in case the Germans do show up. But I think we're going to end things here. I want to thank everyone.